This is the exact reason why people feel the need to amend the Constitution. So I have some comments and some questions about your bill. First of all, I'm sure you are aware, or are you aware, that Proposition A did pass in your district?
Proposition A did pass in Cass County, but not in my district.
Not
my
in your
district
district.
goes down to Bates County.
Okay, do you know what the percentage was in your district?
It was about 49%. It was very close. But
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said a couple of things in your opening that sort of made me think, and I made some notes here. So you made the comment that what works in the urban areas might not work in the rural areas, but I would think that the urban strongholds of Clark County, Adair County, Mississippi County, and Henry County, all of which passed Proposition A, might be a counter to that. What do you think? Because this isn't a situation where Proposition A just passed in the cities. This was a broad acceptance, percentage-wise, 57%, but also in a lot of different counties.
Well, when you look at it, what were people voting on? I can't tell you because I don't know.
Well, they were voting on a
$15
$15 an hour minimum wage and earned paid sick leave.
Or were they voting on one issue or both issues? I don't know that. So, do you know that?
Well, I know they voted yes.
Okay.
I mean, I know that they voted yes, whether they were voting for one or the other or both. And, you know, I think, too, you made a point about different businesses having different needs, and I think that's valid in terms of staffing. But you brought up restaurants. Mm-hmm. And, you know, restaurants are businesses that are very unlikely to offer sick leave because folks are shift workers. They're very unlikely to offer sick leave, but I would argue that those are the businesses that need it most, because how would you feel if you go into a restaurant and the person who is making your lunch wanted to call in today because they were sick, but they sure couldn't afford to miss that shift? And so when the lady from Cass comes in to order her lunch, sneezing, coughing, cooking, is that something that makes you feel safe?
First of all, that is a health hazard. And B, that would be up to that business. I believe that it is up to the employer and the employee to work out the details. Right now, you cannot, if you have something wrong, like pink eye or diarrhea or some other things, you cannot go to work
but
when you are dealing with food.
We know that people do, though, because they don't have a choice. And I think that when we start talking about why an issue like this resonated with so many people, it's that because so many of us have had jobs where if you miss a shift, you don't know how you're going to make rent. Or if you miss a shift, you're afraid that you're going to have to cut that grocery budget in half for the week. And when we talk about earned sick time, which I think is a really important distinction to make, this is not a giveaway benefit. This is you earn an hour for every approximate week, 3/4 of a week that you work. I don't think it's that much of a lift, especially in the times that we are in, where money is tight and people don't have access to health care. Completely sympathetic to concerns of business owners, but this is a quality of life issue. And thank you for indulging my inquiry.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak on the bill briefly again, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you. So, you know, the gentleman from Camden, too, alluded to the will of the people, and as did one of the other members. And, you know, trying to contest that there's any value in that as far as it relates to this discussion. But that is what it is about. And we have heard so many times in my first 2 years in this body, when we were trying to restrict the initiative petition process, how many times did we hear folks on the other side of the aisle say, we shouldn't amend the Constitution, that's not right, there's too much stuff in it? Well, this is the exact reason why people feel the need to amend the Constitution. Because Proposition A passed with 57%, and we are standing here fewer than 6 months later trying to overturn it. And so you can't have it both ways. To my friends on the other side of the aisle, do you believe that we shouldn't be, amending the Constitution because If this bill passes, I guarantee minimum wage and paid sick leave, it'll be in the Constitution in 2026, because we will go to the ballot and we will do it again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.